Hey everyone, today we're going to take a look at this 2021 Subaru Outback. The Outback got a full redesign for 2020, so not a whole lot changes here for 2021. The redesign itself was more evolutionary than revolutionary. This one has the more powerful turbocharged engine. That is one of the big things that changed with the Outback for 2020. Moved from a V6 to a turbocharged 4-cylinder. It makes 260 horsepower and 277 pounds-feet of torque. That engine is paired to a continuously variable automatic transmission. This one is the Onyx trim level, so you'll notice it has black wheels and other black trim pieces. So anyway, let's take a tour of the Outback here and then take it for a drive. Despite the Outback having been fully redesigned just last year, it still wears a pretty familiar shape. Like I said, this is an Onyx trim level, so it has a black grille, it's got black wheels. These are 18-inch wheels. They are wrapped in Yokohama Avid GT tires. This is just a basic all-season tire. Not going to really give you much off-road capability. Black mirror caps, a lot of black trim in the taillight housings here. Take a look in the cargo area. Power tailgate. This one isn't fully loaded, but it's close to being loaded. And in that package, you get a power tailgate. Around back here, something worth noting about the Outback. This vehicle is based on the Legacy, which is a mid-size sedan. But that said, it has very similar cargo volume to the Forester, which is a compact SUV. Only difference is in the Forester, a lot of that space is vertical because the vehicle has a taller greenhouse because again it's shaped like an SUV. In the Outback here, some of that space is more spread out this way. The Outback's about 11 inches longer than the Forester, so you get more horizontal storage space but less overhead space. Anyway, looking in the cargo area of this thing, quite a lot going on back here actually. There is this slide out cargo cover. You can put it up like that. That's interesting. So there's a track that extends along the D-pillar. Makes it easier to access your stuff while still having it covered for anyone looking in the rear window here. Anyway, other things back here include tie-down points. It's still fairly light duty. Yeah, that doesn't inspire a lot of confidence right there. Little coat hooks that pop out, and then these put down the second row seats, which is nice if you have something like skis that you want to put in here. You can put down the seats from within the cargo area. Another tie down right here. Pretty flimsy. A note on this liner back here, it's pretty cheap. I mean, this is about as thin as it could be. And the other thing is, it slides around a lot. There's nothing that allows it to bite into the carpet back here. So if you're looking to buy an Outback, I would probably avoid this part from Subaru and just get some kind of cargo tray on the aftermarket from a company like WeatherTech. This could be a lot better. Little net over here allows you to store maybe a first aid kit, and then there's also a 12-volt outlet for the cargo area as well. Before we check out the interior, I want to show you my favorite feature of the Outback, and that is its hideaway crossbars that live in these roof rails here. So these come standard on every Outback. They've actually come standard on every Outback since the 2010 model year, which was the first year of the 4th generation Outback. This is now the 6th generation Outback. But anyway, every Outback has these, even the base model, which is pretty cool. And what they are crossbars that can be stowed in these roof rails. So here's one of them. I removed it just by pulling up on this tab and then pulling up on the bar itself. And it even has a rubber bottom, so you can be sure it's not going to scratch the roof of the car. So we'll move that one over, and we'll come around to the other side here. They're crossed, so you release the other one from the front. We'll put that over, and then you can see there's a little hole there, and then this one goes right here. Lift it up, make sure it's locked in place. Again, pretty easy. There's just a little tab there that moves this tab when you pull on it, and that allows it to slot down in that hole. You can also just press it back over to the other side, press it down, and there you go. you've now got crossbars. Then to put them back, just reverse operations. Come over to this side, undo this one, take this one, clamp it down, grab that one, clamp it down, and you're back to how you were. If you buy an Outback, you'll never have to mess with accessory crossbars, which cost anywhere from about $150 all the way up to $500. It's probably one of my top 5 favorite features on any vehicle. Definitely one of the features that sets this vehicle apart if you plan on using this for ski trips, mountain biking, even just putting a cargo box on your roof. This feature makes it so much easier. So let's take a look at the window sticker here. This one's actually a 2020 model. It's an XT Onyx edition. So XT means it has the more powerful 2.4 liter turbocharged engine, makes 260 horsepower and 277 pounds-feet of torque. That's paired with a continuously variable transmission, which I'm not a huge fan of. Anyway, though, the EPA rates this thing at 23 city, 30 highway, 26 combined. That's fairly competitive. And as equipped, this one stickers for $37,995. One of the big selling points of the new Outback is this big screen here. I'm just gonna be blunt, I don't love it. Car companies are using big screens as a way to get rid of physical buttons. The idea there is that screens are coming down in cost, so it's becoming a cheap way to save a little bit of money on the design of the vehicle. So rather than designing and installing and integrating a bunch of different buttons, they just route everything through a screen now, which may seem appealing on the surface. I know Tesla sells a lot of vehicles that way, but I still prefer physical buttons. And I don't think that's because I'm old school. I think it's because physical buttons are easier to use while you're driving. You'll see here, this is all of your HVAC controls. Of course, there are still buttons here for temperature and defrost, but most of your fan speed, heated seats, everything like that is now located at the base of this touchscreen here. And when you're driving, you have to look to use it. You can't just find the physical buttons based on feel. You actually have to look down and adjust things via the touchscreen, and I just don't love it. I especially don't love it when heated seats are integrated into the touchscreen. Now, what's nice is that this panel stays here regardless of what's on the rest of the screen, but even adjusting the heated seats, say you hop in the car with a passenger and it's cold and you both want to turn on your heated seat, you can see there's a brief lag, and then you actually have to compete to turn on the heated seats. So if you want to turn on this one, it takes over the screen. If you want to turn on that one, it takes over the screen. So it's just little things like that that make this a little bit more complicated to use. And then just the interface itself I wouldn't call it super nice. It feels a little bit old. I think the Starlink branding is a little bit tired here in 2021. And then there is a bit of lag when you go between screens. Your X mode controls are all routed through the touchscreen as well. This Onyx trim gets 3 different X modes, X mode settings, whatever you want to call them. So normal, snow and dirt, and then deep snow and mud. Throughout the rest of the interior, though, it's pretty nice, actually. Subaru interiors have come a long way in the past few years. Decent materials used all around here. This is a soft touch. This is another soft touch kind of rubberized surface. Window controls are actually really nice. For a mainstream vehicle, these feel really crisp. I think the design is good. It doesn't feel old like it does in some cars. Steering wheel is pretty nice. Despite this having a continuously variable transmission, you still get paddle shifters here that give you simulated gears. I think there are 8 of them. Not a lot of buttons. Again, that's because most of them are routed through this touchscreen, but electronic parking brake. This button brings up the backup camera, which is, yikes, extremely low resolution. Something kind of clever, like in the new Toyota RAV4, this one has a shelf up front here, so you can stick things like a phone or a wallet or sunglasses here, or at least your passenger can. Moving on to the seats, like in the new Crosstrek Sport trim, the Outback Onyx here gets this unique seat material. It's water resistant. It feels like it would be pretty durable. It's kind of like a closed cell neoprene. I don't mind it. Yellowish green stitching here, kind of a unique color choice. That unique material moves over to the center console lid. So there are actually 2 levels to the center console here. So first level brings up a tray, and then second one brings up your actual console box. There's a 12-volt outlet there. Ahead of the shifter here, 2 USB-A ports. That's kind of a bummer. I'd like to see USB-C. There's an aux port and then a wireless charging pad. Let's check out the second row. Okay, so there's actually plenty of space back here. Heated seats, 2 USB-A ports. It's kind of a weird thing there. This one just has a basic sunroof, overhead dome light, grab handle. The middle seatbelt here is up in the ceiling, which is really weird. I don't understand why they can't just put it right here like it is in every other vehicle. But anyway, middle seatbelt is in the ceiling. Cup holders in the armrest, not much else to see. Team crafted in Indiana. There you go. Okay, driving the Outback. This is a very easy car to drive. I think that's kind of the theme here. This vehicle would likely be cross-shopped with maybe even something like a Toyota 4Runner, and while it doesn't offer the off-road capability of a body-on-frame SUV, it's certainly much more comfortable, easier to drive, gets significantly better fuel economy, and I think that's the trade-off. And for many people, this is going to be a better vehicle than a body-on-frame SUV. There's 50, so decent power out of this turbocharged 2.4 liter. You still get 26 mpg combined. Yeah, that's not bad. I don't love the continuously variable automatic transmission. I reviewed a Crosstrek a few weeks back that also uses a CVT, like pretty much every vehicle in Subaru's lineup. I didn't really mind the CVT there. I find it to be a little bit more droney in this vehicle, and that's probably because of that turbocharged engine. CVTs aren't as bad as they used to be, but I still prefer a traditional geared automatic transmission. Automakers use CVTs because it's a way to get an additional 1 or 2 mpg when it comes to fuel economy ratings, but they come at the expense of just overall driving civility. They're just a little bit loud. That said, in terms of day-to-day livability, I really like the Outback. Subaru sells a ton of these. It's not hard to see why. It's really functional. I think those crossbars that are hidden in the roof rails are super clever. This is a really easy vehicle to load up with gear and shoot up to the ski resort. Great for people who like to get outside. Obviously, that's kind of how Subaru has built its brand. Subaru isn't quite as differentiated for offering all-wheel drive these days. Every vehicle, for the most part, is offered with all-wheel drive. At least every SUV, most wagons come with all-wheel drive. So that doesn't quite set Subaru apart anymore. I've gone from viewing them kind of as the niche rugged option to more of just a mainstream automaker that still does some things really well. This vehicle has a pretty competent array of active safety features. Of course, the same could be said for everyone these days. The Outback, though, really stands out just for its form factor. You can't really get a vehicle like this from Toyota. You can't really get a vehicle like this from Honda, not from Ford, not from General Motors. Nissan doesn't really offer a competitor, so the Outback has really kind of carved out a niche for itself, and it's a niche that it's enjoyed really throughout most of its existence. I'm surprised other automakers haven't come out with a direct competitor for the Outback. There's been some over the years. The Buick Regal Touareg, which was really just a rebadged Opel, that was sold in the US for a couple years. Volkswagen offered the Golf Alltrack for a few years, but again, that was smaller than this, and it's a Volkswagen. The Outback has really just gotten to enjoy having the market to itself. Here's our speed bump test. So that one was at about 15 miles per hour. Felt pretty good. Let's do this one at 28. Not bad. This one's a little bit bigger down here. We'll see if we can do this at 30. Not too bad. It bucked a little bit, but I never felt like the wheels were gonna leave the ground or anything. There's that drone from the CVT. It's always there. Not my favorite. So there's a look at the new Subaru Outback. I gotta say, I've really enjoyed my time with this vehicle. It touches on all the bases. It's gonna be relatively reliable, it's efficient, it offers pretty good active safety tech, but then beyond that, from a functional standpoint, this vehicle offers some real advantages. While it will never be as capable as a traditional body-on-frame SUV with true low-range four-wheel drive gearing, it does offer some added capability. As far as car-based all-wheel drive systems go, Subaru's is pretty good. You've got a couple different drive modes which may help you out. If you do want to take this vehicle off-road, I would recommend putting on a set of competent crossover-oriented all-terrain tires. There's one model in particular right now. It is the Falcon Wild Peak AT Trail. It's meant for crossovers like this. Throw a set of those on this vehicle and you're going to pretty much maximize its potential in terms of dirt road capabilities. This vehicle offers similar cargo hauling capabilities to the Forester. You can put the second row seats down from the cargo area, so it's really easy to just throw skis in at the last minute. Another way to haul skis is on these super clever hidden crossbars that live within the standard roof rails. Those are really smart. They're easy to deploy, they're easy to put away. They make it really easy to attach any variety of accessory racks and boxes and baskets and stuff like that to this vehicle. One thing I don't love is this infotainment system. I think it's kind of a half-baked way for Subaru to save a few dollars on buttons. They've moved a lot of physical buttons to this touchscreen infotainment system, and if you're going to do that, I think you've really got to have this setup dialed in. And this Starlink system, it feels a little bit tired at this point, and it's laggy and the layout's kind of weird. I don't love it. I would prefer to have actual buttons for the heated seats and the fan speed and things like that, but I think I could get over it. There's not a whole lot else. I like this trim level. The fact that it comes with this unique seating material is nice. I think these seats would maybe be a little bit more durable than fabric or leather if you're going to be getting in here wet or muddy. If you're going to have dogs sitting on the back seat, I think the material is definitely going to be better for that. So all around, I think the Outback, it's not an off-roader. Don't buy one of these and put on big heavy tires and other stuff like that. It can't handle it. It's no substitute for something like a 4Runner if you actually need a 4Runner. Most people don't, and for those people, the Outback is going to offer plenty of capability while being extremely comfortable, relatively fuel efficient, good tech, good safety features, good reliability. What more can you ask for? So I give the Outback a thumbs up, and thank you for watching.